4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, welcome back, everybody. The beauty of live YouTube and Facebook.
Take two.
Yes, exactly. I think we'll just start with the encore.
Yes, let's go right to the
Let's
good
do that.
stuff. Yeah.
So, since you weren't able to hear us to begin with, I am Matt, White House Custom Color Client Success Manager, and this is my friend Robert.
Okay.
And we are coming to you live on YouTube and Facebook right now, so thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be doing more of these in the future. We're super excited about it. Everybody in the room right now is super jazzed and excited to share with you a bunch of fun new product things. So also, we're going to be doing live Q&A after each of the sections, so I will hand it over to Robert.
Well, folks, it's springtime. Never soon enough for me, just saying. And we are in the heart of senior grad season. So today, Matt and I are going to be talking about what's hot with seniors. Now, all the products we're going to talk about, obviously they're not exclusive to the senior market, super popular across all the categories, but we're going to focus a little bit more on seniors today because those crazy kids, they just keep graduating. But let's start off with cards.
Yeah, let's do that. So while we're thinking of cards, I just want to talk to you about the importance of cards, especially in a social media age where everything, a lot of things are digital. It means a lot to get an actual card in the mail. Like just for us, for example, we keep our holiday cards up for a really long time.
Yep.
So we're going to talk today about how easy White House Custom Color has made it to design and sell cards. Okay.
Perfect.
So we have this amazing piece of software here called Studio, and my friend Robert is going to be jumping onto the screen here. We're just going to show you a little bit about how to begin with Studio, how to play with it. Okay. So under Resources, you're going to find Studio. Here's going to be a landing page. It's going to tell you a lot about the software itself. Now, if you're not familiar with it or if you've never heard of it before, we would urge you to reach out to customer service and set up a meeting where you can actually go through a demo and catch up on things and really see the functionality and how integrated it is. So, like Robert was saying, we're going to talk about cards today, but also within Studio, you are able to design albums, which we're going to talk about later. You're able to design and order wall display pieces, and you're also able to do in-person sales. So your images on your desktop will automatically sync to your iPad, and then you can do in-person sales. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself there. We're going to actually talk about cards today. So let's go ahead and create a project here, Robert. So when you go in, you're going to create a new project. Now you can name this however you want, last name, first name, date, however you choose to manage your files. And what a project means to you is it would be a session. So it would be each individual client coming in. Now Robert has uploaded, or he's working on uploading 9 images into his project right now. You can upload up to 300 images, up to 40 megabytes per file, and those will live on our servers for as long as you want them to. We're not ever going to go in and delete those. They will be there. And what this means to you is it's going to be a central place where you can go back and pull from, order many different products. So we're going to focus on cards today. So Robert's going to slide down and he's going to select grads for his design for cards. And we're going to show you how easy it is to design a card. Now, back in the day, designing grad cards could be a very involved process of back and forth and creating custom designs, where now we have a group of very talented designers here at White House that have designed specifically 127 different graduation announcements as of today, but that number constantly changes. But quite literally, within 127 designs, you have multiple shapes, you have multiple colors, you have different font options, front layout options, back layout options. It's amazing how much flexibility and design capability is within the card designer. So let's go ahead and start a card design here, Robert.
Okay.
All right, so we are into a gallery that we have actually created. If you kind of think of the cooking show where all the ingredients go into the pot and then you see it after the fact, we're kind of into the final session here where we have the card that is all built. So Robert, why don't you go ahead and slide into that one?
Well, you know what, let's do another one.
Okay.
We were going to, again, the wonders of live TV, folks, we were going to actually set up the card for you and show it the finished product, but it's all the same. It's all the same stuff. So we are just going to start another product, another card just live. So I'm going to go into the one that I actually started.
Okay.
Go to new product, and I'll bring it down to grads where Matt was talking about before, and we'll jump in there.
Okay, sounds good. So like I was saying, there's so much customization that's available within these cards. So let's just go ahead and pick one. Now within this card that Robert's looking at, you can choose different color designs. You can change background and front as far as the number of images that go on there, shapes, papers, change the font, change the text, all the things. So while he's playing around in here, we'll just kind of keep an eye on his screen. So you're literally taking something that would have taken, potentially an hour before and dropping it into something that will literally take you just a few minutes. It's super easy to customize, drag and drop, where you just one click, you can move the image around. He's flipped onto the back here. Let's go ahead and pick a different layout and just kind of show how many images we can do on there. So we want to go down, there we go. Perfect, awesome. Okay, so then you can drag multiple images up, you can change the color of the background, you can change the font, you can crop into it. The amount of variation and amount of options here are truly almost endless. When you think about 127 designs, all the different things, there's quite literally thousands of different ways that you can design these cards. Now another cool thing about this is it's not just the cards. We actually do customize envelopes as well. So I'm going to show you a couple here. And last fall we did switch to a Euro flap style envelope. So I'm actually going to hold this up for Connor here, and he's going to be able to zoom in on that. So they're a beautiful style envelope. Very trendy, very now. This is one of my favorite colors, and it actually has one of my favorite designs on the front, which happens to be one of the new designs that, if I am correct, is going to be coming out this week. So Euro style flaps on the envelopes. There's going to be several different colors available in those, as well as designs for the envelopes. Also, you can get white printing on the envelopes instead of just black now. So that's a super cool option as well. And Robert's gonna kind of slide through here and up and down on the different options available for envelope design. Another cool thing, I know I just keep adding cool options to this, that we added in the fall was recipient addressing. We had a lot of requests for that. Now Robert's actually playing with the return addressing here right now, which you can change out, obviously, the font and the size and the text. But the thing that I'm really excited about is the recipient addressing. So literally, you can upload your Excel spreadsheet to us, and it will auto-populate. And then you can actually, we're loading, there we go. And then you can actually click through and see how those are going to appear, and just do a double check of your spelling and the addresses, and all the things before you actually place the order. So I do love that option. Again, that was new in the fall. So now this is a way that if you want to maintain full control over your card sales. So if you're just going to purely use Studio as a design tool, Robert's actually creating a proof of this card right now. Now, if you're just using this as a design tool and you're going to sell to your clients, then you would actually go to the share cards.
Do we want to see just a simple proof?
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. Yep.
You can also do just a simple proof. This is when you have full control, as Matt mentioned, where it's just literally going to shoot out a URL that you can share with your client, and it's going to show you front and back. It's inert proof, and they're just going to say, yes, I love it.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely, and there isn't anything that is customizable from that link. That's good to mention as well. So that's going to be the simple way that you, as a photographer, can maintain control over the design, and you're just sending them a proof to approve or to change or whatever they need to on that.
Unbranded and unpriced.
Unbranded, unpriced. Thank you for that. Now, like we were saying, there's multiple layers of flexibility and usability with Studio. So I kind of like to think of it as like a sliding scale of involvement. Do you want to be completely involved? Do you want to be kind of involved, or do you not want to be involved at all? Okay. So what Robert is circling on the screen here is going to be a share cards link. Now with this link, it is an unbranded, again. It's not going to come back to White House Custom Color, a way that your client can look at their card design and also see other options of cards that are available. So once you've created that project, like we talked about at the beginning, those images live there, and they're available for card design, album design, wall display, all the things. Now on this page, and we'll talk about this in a minute, what Robert's circling there is the custom logo. So you're actually able to upload your logo. So when somebody clicks on that link, it doesn't look like White House. It looks like your brand, your coloring, all the things, okay? So he's also kind of circling on the film strip there. So those are going to be your images that you've uploaded to your project. And then below is going to be showing all the different designs. Now, he's kind of circling around the 127 designs. I personally wouldn't recommend sending out 127 designs to a client. I think it's going to be very overwhelming. So we're going to talk in just a minute about how to curate that down to your favorite cards to share with your clients, okay? So what he's doing here is just moving forward into the way that your client would view this, and they could go in and customize it, change out the images. They could potentially change out card design. They could change out the envelope design, color, design of the envelope, printing of the envelope. So they have all the functionality that you essentially do, and it's all in their hands to be able to play with and design, and that automatically saves into Studio. So it makes it a super cool tool for people that really want to be involved as a client and or as a final user in designing their cards and playing with things, because people do like to do that. So as Robert's kind of playing through here, we're going to bounce back in a minute into our original setup tools for Studio. So now that you've seen the different ways that you can be involved with it, we're going to go back and show you how easy it is to do your initial setup here. All right, so if we want to bounce back here.
Yep. We're going to see this update in a second. We'll come back to the changes that they made.
Perfect.
So here we go.
Perfect. Okay, so when you go into your projects for the first time, you're going to be able to have the opportunity to set some of these up, but keep in mind that that is not necessary if you're not going to be sending the link out to clients to order directly. So I mentioned a few minutes ago about being able to curate down your grad card collection so you're not showing somebody 127. This is how you would do that, okay? So you can create multiple different collections. They can be client specific, they could be genre specific, whatever you'd prefer to do. With all the options out there, you quite literally could create a different curated group of card designs for one client at a time, which would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So with this, once you have created those different curated collections, when you're sending out the link, you get to select which collection you send with that. So if you only want your client to see your 5 favorite cards or your 10 favorite cards, that's all they're going to see. They're not going to have complete access to the other 127. Moving on to the next one for branding.
So there's our seniors right there.
Boy, you're fast. Did you collect through?
I did.
Like 3 in that time? Wow,
I did.
You're amazing.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to the next one is going to be our branding. Now you did see on a previous page that My Studio Photography did show up as the logo. Now that would be your photography logo. So you're able to do your logo, you're able to choose your accent color, you're able to put in the studio name, and then also your card branding. So it's kind of cool. If you are going to let people design their own, you put the card branding on the bottom of your website or a message or whatever you'd like it to be. That's going to automatically appear onto the cards every time, so you don't have to worry about adding that. So this truly is where you take the back end, which is White House on Studio, and make it look like your own, which is pretty awesome. Now, the next question you're probably is asking is, well, how do I price these? We make it super, super simple for you, okay? So you're gonna see on the screen here right now that it's going to show you on the right-hand side, if you wanna circle over there, Robert, there you go. It's gonna show your actual cost for the cards, and then your markup on the cards, and then actually what you earn. And you'll notice on the left-hand side where it says % upcharge, that's how you're gonna set your pricing. Now with all the different options that we have as far as shapes and papers and envelope options and foils and things of that nature, there's a lot of different things that can add to the cost of a card. So we do it as a percentage, so it just automatically increases as your clients choose different options. The way that you get paid is you would set up a Stripe account. We will get paid for the cards. You will get a direct payment or deposit as a result of the markup and the cards will get drop shipped directly to your client. Another really cool option is, let's just say that you kind of want to be the final say in making sure that the spelling is correct, that the color tones look good, that your clients did a good job on this. You can click hold for approval, or you can select to auto submit the order. I prefer to do the double check just because I like to double check things.
Myself as well.
Absolutely. So I think that's a pretty good overview of cards so far. And like Robert was saying, we do have this one here. It's not the same one that we designed, but that's the beauty of live, broadcasting.
That's
I
right.
think
And
it's
you
great.
saw how quickly we could set up our own in just seconds.
Yep, exactly. If you don't have a current paper, sorry, Connor, I'm kind of blasting that all over for you there. If you don't have a current paper sample set, you can feel free to reach out to customer service and we can go ahead and get one of those shipped out to you as well. That's going to have a bunch of different envelopes, paper, shapes, all the things in it.
Absolutely. And definitely feel free to do that because there's no substitution to see, touch, feel, right, folks? Well, that wraps up our cards, and we got a couple of questions coming in. I see one floating in right now, and the question was, is this interface, this studio interface, is it for flat cards only? Now, this is a newer interface, this suite of ordering tools, which is really a game changer for us and where everything is heading in the future. The way it is right now, you can order 5x7 flat cards through Studio and through the standalone online card editor, mostly because our printed envelopes, right, they're 5x7s, and so they're going to fit in there nicely as well. So that's where that's going to begin.
Okay, so the next question is, can clients upload Recipient Excel on their own? And the answer to that, I believe, is yes.
Yes, I believe that they can. And so when they're doing their customizing, right, when you sent them over that gallery, that project, and they've customized, they can go through to the envelopes themselves, and they can upload their own, or they can send it to you, and you can send it through yourself.
Absolutely.
Now, there is on there, by the way, you're also going to see when we clicked in there and added that, there is a template that you can download that's going to have all the fields that you need. It's just an Excel document, but it really just needs to be a spreadsheet or a CSV when it comes back. And that's going to tell you the field so that it's going to load properly for you, right? The name and the address and things like that for those recipients. Right now, the question is, I'm squinting because it's so far away.
Is it Android?
Is it Android based? Well, it isn't. This part is internet based, so it goes where you go as far as Studio is concerned. There is an iPad app that we talked about going through there, and right now that is going to be Mac centric. Maybe some changes in the future, but right now that's where that lands. Otherwise, that's it.
Okay.
All right, cool, folks. Thanks for dropping those in. And again, we'll stop along the line for some more questions. But I think we can move on.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so for those of you that have just joined us, we're watching the number of viewers pop up, which is pretty cool. I am Matt, and this is my friend Robert, and we are both from White House Custom Color. We're here with you for the next 40 minutes talking about cool new products and mostly kind of a little bit senior-centric today, or a little more senior-based. And this is going to be a great segue into acrylics, which happen to be some of our favorite things. Now, when we were talking about Studio, you can also order your wall display items in Studio. So as Robert has the computer up on his screen here, we're going to go ahead and jump back into the project and design an acrylic here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so if we click back into doing an acrylic print in the wall display, now you can go through multiple sizes. Studio is going to have full knowledge of the sizes and options that are available for our wall displays. So again, with acrylics, we're going to talk about more in depth here in a few minutes, but you can choose your paper type, you can choose your mounting, you can choose your size. It's literally a drag and drop up into the open screen as well. And you can check out right there, bada bing, bada boom.
Matt.
What?
I have an idea.
What kind of idea do you have?
I'm going to grab a camera and a selfie stick, and I'm going to run over to the wall displays facility real quick. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to drop something in. Can you vamp for like 30 seconds
I
I sprint over there with my selfie
but
stick?
I want you to run really fast.
It'll be like I never left the room.
It kind of will be.
Thanks, buddy. I'll let you know when I get there.
Awesome. Well, have a nice trip over there, Robert. So again, as we're kind of closing out here and moving on to talking about acrylics, keep in mind that you can order all your wall display items through Studio. It's super slick, really easy, lets you choose all the options. And I think, oh, yep. Robert, are you there? Are you ready? Great. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to roll here. Lucas, if you want to get Robert in.
Hey everybody, today we are going to pull back the curtain and show you how we produce one of the most popular products that we carry, and those are acrylic prints. It sounds like a pretty simple process: print on styrene, smack it onto an acrylic, send it out the door. It's way more complex than that. I'm super excited to show you. Let's go in. Now let's check out our acrylic prints process. First, a starter block is taped to the short edge of the print to stabilize it throughout the rest of the process. We're in one of our clean rooms here, and we make great effort to keep those rooms very clean. But as a little extra insurance, the acrylic is sprayed with a plexiglass cleaner, and a sticky roller is used throughout to ensure dust removal. Then we'll score the edge to release the clear plastic coating of the adhesive photo front. A heated pressurized roller is used to adhere the print to the acrylic. Then we remove the starter block and we peel off the acrylic's protective sheet. We're going to check that again, of course, for any flaws, marks, or scratches. The product then goes back through the heated rollers to remove any air pockets that might be between the photo and the styrene. The mounted styrene is trimmed and cleaned one last time before the hanging options are applied. Acrylic prints have multiple hanging options. We're going to show you our float mount here. First, we use a cornering tool to mark the edges for proper placement. Then we remove the adhesive from the back of the hanging bracket and adhere it to the back of the print. The product is given one final quality check before it heads over to packaging and shipping.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Whew. Whoa.
Right on.
Hey, man. That was fast.
Wasn't it though?
That was great.
I really, seriously, like I never left the room.
Yeah,
the hardest part, honestly, was the wardrobe change.
Yeah, and the haircut.
Well, getting my crazy long hair wig straight.
Yeah.
Honestly, I look like
everybody
a
keeps the
crazy
wig
person in
here.
that wig.
That works.
Honestly, it doesn't work for me.
Well, thank you for rejoining us.
You know
really
what I found out
appreciate
when
it.
I was there?
What?
There's a new size acrylic.
There is.
And they sent me back with it.
Ooh, that's fancy. Why don't you
Isn't it?
tell us about that?
This is an 8x10 acrylic block. Now I'm going to get this over to Connor's camera here. Acrylic blocks, we're going to talk through the prints and the blocks, but the blocks are super cool. They are 1-inch acrylic, and that means they sit on the table by themselves, and they're going to be backed by the same styrene backing, and we're going to talk about details of the prints that you can put inside of it. But this 8x10 is a new size. We're super excited about it. But let's just jump into it, Matt. Let's jump into all the acrylics.
Yeah, let's talk acrylics. So acrylics are one of my favorite things. I can still remember walking through the lab the day that I saw the prototypes, and I was so excited because I think that they're just gorgeous. So there's going to be a couple different styles of acrylics that we're going to talk about today. Acrylic panels or wall display, and then the acrylic blocks. So what Robert's holding up here is going to be an 8x10 acrylic panel or acrylic wall display. So this starts with a 1/4-inch acrylic, and then it's going to be either a glossy or a metallic print backed with black styrene. And you can do 3 different options as far as mounting goes. So you can either get it without any mount at all if you just want to put it onto an easel. And then you can also choose the 3/4 float mount. Again, this is going to be the 1/4-inch acrylic, either a glossy or a metallic print, styrene backing, then a 3/4 gator foam block with a hanging hardware attached to the back. So this is going to stand out from the wall 3/4 of an inch, okay? And then the next one is going to be our inset metal frame. This happens to be my favorite option. This is an 1 5/16". It's going to stand away from the wall a little bit further than that 3/4, but again, it's going to start the same way with a 1/4-inch acrylic, either the glossy print or the metallic print, and then it's going to have that inset metal frame on the back and the wire hanger. These are available up to 40 by 60. A few things that you may not know is that we can do custom sizes.
We can.
We can, and then we can also float frame these, which is really a beautiful option, a very, very high-end option. And then I'll let Robert talk a little bit more about the blocks because he so magically brought an 8x10 back.
That was just fortuitous, wasn't it?
It
So
really
let's
was.
talk about these blocks, and they're so versatile, really across any category, of course, because they just sit on your desk. They're produced exactly the same way we saw in that awesome video that I shot live, and then ran back
that
and
was
showed
live?
you. Oh yeah, that was live. I took my camera and my selfie stick, and I
great.
went and did it. I had to balance the selfie stick with my feet, but I did it. I mean, production value, I'd say, is really high. And I introduced this 8x10, which is a new size for us here. It's produced exactly the same way. You've got your glossy or your metallic print, which is going to be behind now just a 1-inch thick acrylic. It's going to have that same styrene backing. And now this joins the family of 4x6, 5x7, and an 8x8 square. These were instantly popular, as were all of the acrylic prints when we dropped them in.
They are.
Cool. So that was acrylics, folks. I mean, that went by fast because I was so fast getting over there. Do we have any questions floating around at this point? Cool. I think we explained that so well that there are no questions.
That's right.
Go,
We're going to take complete credit for that one. All right, so for those of you just joining us, once again, I am Matt, and this is my friend Robert. We are from White House Custom Color, so we're going to be here talking about one more really cool thing, and then we're going to be taking some questions and answers, and then we're going to log off for the day, but we'll be back very soon. So, albums or books. Another super cool thing that's laying in front of us is going to be this custom debossing. So, let's just say that you want to have your studio logo created as a deboss stamp that we can keep here, then you can select to have that actually printed onto your albums, and you can choose the location of that again to bottom center, 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 bottom right, or bottom left, I believe. And that's an awesome option. We have a lot of people that are doing that. Do you want to see if we can get that one to pick up on the camera there?
Let's see if we can grab this one. And you know, with these custom debosses, to try to get it in the light for you, thanks Connor, you can even apply them to the inside end leaves, the inside covers of the albums if you like. And this is just going to be something you're going to set up with us, these custom debossing elements of your logos. We're going to keep them on file. And after that, it's just a normal deboss. So just contact us if you don't find the form, which is on the website under albums, to submit your debossing design, and just give us a call at customer service if you can't find that. We'll set you up with that, and once we have it, we keep it.
Yep, and that's not just for logos either. If you have a scenario where you need to have a custom thing done, we can make a die from about anything, any size. So it's not just limited to logos. So before we take some question and answers here today, I want to show you this little pamphlet, which I just love. Again, if you're interested in seeing the different papers that are available for albums, you can definitely call into customer service and we can get one of these out to you. It's going to be kind of like the Cliff Notes of all the different things and number of spreads and everything that are available for albums and books. And it's also going to contain each of the paper samples and then also a little sample of one of the cover materials as well. And as long as we're talking about cover materials, I've got a little ring back here. We've been adding and changing around the cover samples quite a lot. So if you haven't gotten a new updated album book cover sample set for a while, you can do that or get those through Rose as well. And there's beautiful new linens, there's beautiful new premium leather covers, a lot of new and exciting options as far as cover options go. So that is available in Rose as well.
Awesome. And to review then those papers, you can see that in that pack. The albums will have 4 papers available, 2 photo paper options, True Photo, and then True Fine Art Inkjet options, and then the books will have 2 paper options, a photo luster and the smooth matte. So that's awesome. I think we should go jump into a few questions. I see one that came on and came off. Probably our superhero, Kristen, answered it in the chat, but really quickly, somebody wanted to know what is the awesome material of this cover, and that is the Honey Distressed, one of my favorite, really just beautiful. All the Distress are absolutely gorgeous, but that's what this one was, in case you didn't see that answer pop up in the stream below. All right, so Matt, you want to grab the next one?
Yep. So debossing options, excuse me, we have two different options. So there's going to be quicksand and there's going to be Oswald. So the Oswald's going to be a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker option.
Of a font.
Of a font, yep, exactly. I can actually bring it up onto the screen if you want to see that again. But the quicksand is going to be a little bit thinner. So you can do blind debossing, you can do different colors of choices for debossing. So as of right now, there are two different options.
Right, so we'll have, there's a black and white ink option, and there are several different foil options. Now you're going to want to consult the website under, again, the albums, and you can head over to specs and look at the debossing, and that's going to tell you what are all the material combinations, font combinations, ink versus blind versus foil that you can add. And there's a question about, are we able to deboss linens? Right now, the linens are not able to be debossed. Will that happen in the future? It will depend on, you know, whether that product going with that process are going to go hand in hand and work for us. We are very serious about vetting and checking things before we are going to release it. Even
Absolutely.
if we receive something from a supplier and they say this is so, we are going to test that ourselves before we're going to release it to you. So right now the linens are not able to be debossed, none of the linens.
Yep. And then our next question here, is it only square sizes in studio? And as of right now, yes, that is correct. So we are constantly building studio, doing software research. So we hope that other sizes will become available. For right now, it is the square sizes that are in there.
In addition to that, there's a question about, you noticed that we had a full material cover or we had that cameo cover. And there's a question about, can I do custom photo covers? Can I do a combo cover in studio? Right now, again, studio is developing, and it's developing based on your feedback, by the way. So definitely we appreciate that. And those are things that are going to be added as time goes on. So right now, it's just square, it's material or a cameo opening. And the rectangular albums, combo covers, photo covers, you can still order all of that stuff through Rose, but we are working actively on increasing the cover types that are available in studio.
Yep. I'm just kind of reading here. Okay, so it looks like we're kind of caught up on the questions right now. Anything else you'd like to add for the good of the order before we head out here today, Robert?
Well, I would say if there are any last second questions, don't be shy, drop them in, because we are about to sign off on our first YouTube Live. So we do have a couple questions sliding in. So we'll do our song and dance.
Okay.
No, we rehearsed that. That's actually
you
gonna
can
be,
do the dancing.
It's gonna be a separate video and
Yeah.
not live. We're gonna edit it,
Yeah.
really edit it. Say, or what is the charge for debossing? Is a question coming in.
Got it.
Now, when you set up your custom deboss, obviously there's going to be a setup fee just to do that, right? It's a custom thing, but I mentioned that once we have it, and it becomes a normal deboss situation, and that is $15 per location. That's all there is to it, whether it's custom at that point or not. It's just going to be $15 per location.
Yep, absolutely. And I can't stress enough how cool these look. I know it's going to be hard to see from the camera angle, but the custom debossing really is beautiful, and especially on a distressed leather, it looks fantastic for a logo specifically.
Absolutely. Well, we have one last check for questions.
Looks like we have one coming in here.
Can you talk to me?
Oh, yeah, well,
yes.
We
now
love that topic.
We do. Matt, why don't you take this one away? The question was, can we talk about in-person sales in studio? And Matt is an expert on this, so take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of my favorite things to talk about, so I'm just going to shove Robert, no, I'm just kidding, out of the picture, kind of like I did in the video before, but
Somebody
no.
call my agent.
You don't
This
get
is
an
not
agent.
okay.
So anyway, the iPad app works splendidly in studio for in-person sales. And Robert, can you tell me how much that is a month again for studio for IPS?
Yes, I mean, you've seen all of the functionality here. And so, I mean, at some point we had to get to the dollars and cents, and
Yeah.
we haven't done it.
Yeah.
You always save it to the end until you love it and you have to have it.
Yep.
So you probably need to write this down, and you're going to agree that it's probably worth the investment. The cost of all of this is $0.0. $0.0. There is no cost to
Yeah,
it, period.
absolutely. So with that being said, now that you don't have to worry about the cost of it, as long as you're a White House client, you can use it, which is fantastic. So when you upload your images into Studio, into a project, and you have an iPad that is signed in, you have the app downloaded, it is automatically going to sync. So when you would open up your iPad and you would go to the Studio app, you are going to see that project living there. The Studio app has full functionality for in-person sales. So you are going to be able to do, you bring in your images, you can select random so it mixes them all up. So it's great for a slideshow. So you can choose your time of delay on the screen, you can choose your dissolve time, you can do individual rate and review, giving them basically like a yes, a maybe, or a no. You can do side-by-side comparisons, again, creating that yes, maybe, no scenario. It builds different galleries, and it makes it incredibly easy to sell. You can broadcast to a TV or a projector using Apple TV. And the really cool thing about this, well, on top of many other cool things, is that it has full knowledge of White House custom color products. So there isn't a scenario where you have to go in and input all of the sizes, all of the costs, all the options, all the things, because it already knows that. What makes it wonderfully financially great, let's just use those words, Robert, if we could,
Yes,
is you are able to show people what it looks like, what the images look like on their walls. So within Studio, within the iPad app, there's already going to be preloaded images of different walls in there. But you can take that a step further, and you can have your clients actually send you pictures of their walls. You can calibrate that image as it's coming into the iPad app, and then you can literally drag and drop those images up onto the screen. You can select your different product, frame type, and show them what it's literally going to look like in their space. So at that point, it's such a powerful tool. And again, there's no cost for this. So it's so simple that you could design walls in a matter of minutes. You can have those ready to go for when your clients come into your studio or when you meet them at their home or a coffee shop, or if you're doing something on a Zoom call. You know, we live in a day and age now where the world changed a lot this last year, and a lot of us are doing in-person sales, really not in person, but we're still guiding the sale. So it is an incredibly useful, incredibly easy, incredibly inexpensive piece of software that will probably take you about 10 minutes to master. So incredibly powerful. I urge you to check it out and just enjoy and have fun with it.
So we had a couple of questions, and Matt actually answered them kind of as it went along. Are there room views? Yes. Has he mentioned that there are generic calibrated walls, room views, that you put a piece of our art up in there, your art up on there, and is a 20 by 20 is a 20 by 20 on that wall. And the same thing for calibrating a custom wall from one of your clients. And the other question was, is that available on PC or a laptop? Now, right now, everything begins with Studio Online, right? And that goes where you go. It's internet based. As far as the wall displays and that app, right now, that is going to be Apple centric. That's going to be on the iPad only.
Yep. And then our next question, we're going to switch topics here real quick, kind of bounce back to acrylics. What's the best material for the most vivid results? Now, I really like them both, but I think that if I was going to make a recommendation specifically on being most vivid, I would personally choose the glossy. I think the metallic has a little bit more dimensional look to it, but I personally think the glossy is going to be a little bit more vivid of an option. Would you agree, Robert?
I would, because the metallic is an awesome paper and it pops. That's what this is under my left hand here. But the metallic by nature will give you a little bit of a sheen and a little bit of a metallic feel depending on your angle of view. So the glossy is going to be whites and is going to really, really pop.
Yep, exactly.
Well, we saw all these tools here, folks, on Studio and ways to just very easily promote yourself, like cards. That's free promotion. And another thing is, we are adding different characteristics and things to the website all the time. We're going to hop into that real quick and look into where we go into inspiration on the website, because this is some new content on the website. And as we come down here, we'll roll down a little bit, and we'll start with seniors, and we'll even click on grad cards there.
Is that where you want to go right there?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
And one of the cool things here, and yes, we're going to talk about everything we just talked about, how to create the perfect card, how do we use Studio, how do we do projects. But as we go down, we are going to see we have some actual social-sized items that you can use and drop into your social media like right now. You see that Matt just literally clicked into one of them. And he can drop images into that space right there. And if he wants to rotate them, he just clicks on it, rotates. He wants to resize, resize. He can literally set up his social media posts right here. It takes seconds. And he can move it again and also rotate it. And in the upper left-hand corner of that pop-up window.
You're getting a little ahead of me here.
I know, but I'll come back.
Give me just a moment.
I got it. You can do it. So he's got this bad boy set up, and now it's perfect. That's important for Matt.
It is.
Perfection.
Perfection.
So up top, we see this download button. We just click that. It is going to download right to our system. You see that where it says rendering down there. And it's already sized for social media. Post that bad boy. That's it. So definitely keep an eye on the website and keep checking out new things. If you ever have any questions from a customer service standpoint, I first of all encourage you to comb through that website because there are a lot of answers there and a lot of resources.
Yes.
But if you have a question, give us a call. That's why we're here.
Absolutely. And just in closing, I just want to thank you, or we want to thank you, Robert and myself, and then the whole White House family. I mean, we have a bunch of people in the room right now. We'll take some behind the scenes so everybody can kind of get a feel for the whole setup here today. And we just want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of the White House family. We are family owned. We are a big family here. We work hard and we play hard, and we ultimately are creating things that make life better for photographers.
Absolutely.
So.
And for all of us, you know, printed medium, we want you to print. That's how people are going to remember. That's the big question. How are you going to remember? And, you know, just to backtrack really quickly where we found that.
I'm going to start
on the
back.
website.
Yep.
Right on the website. Inspiration. Just click your category, and you're going to walk right into it there.
Yep.
Okay.
And then if you do want to get back to those images that we were just playing with, you would go into Explore Grad Cards and then slide down, and they are going to be right there.
Yep. And it will say social media, that category there, and you can use any and all of them. So absolutely do. Well, folks, this has been awesome. Matt,
It has.
I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, as I do all the time working with you. Folks, thanks again for joining us today. If you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe. That's going to keep this channel going. That's what we need. Your feedback is important to us, and we are going to bring new content to you when we can, so keep an eye out for that as well. So on behalf of Matt, myself, and all of the family here, we want to thank you guys for joining us. Be good to yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
All right, take care. We'll see you soon.